Welcome to the dark side of BEASTwriter. I am your host, Ryan Sakamoto, and today we're going to be breaking down basically the Raiders' offensive line. That's been the team's Achilles heel leading up from OTAs to, from rookie main camp, OTAs to training camp. That's been the talk of the town. I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that we're going to be going ahead and talking and starting with the offensive line because, as you guys know, the way I do business is I am a firm believer in games being won in the trenches. No quarterback, would be Derek Carr, Pat Mahomes, you name the quarterback, can have success without a balanced offensive attack. That means a balanced passing attack as solidified by the rushing game. And then also on top of that, no quarterback can have success, or no wide receivers can have success when we peel back layers of the onion to get to the core, when they're running their route tree. If they don't have the separation and the time to get separation off the top of their drop or whatever the case may be and coming off their stem, then it's all for naught because basically the quarterback's flat on his back looking at the sky. So again, everything starts up front. And if you're going to put blame on anything, it all starts with the offensive line. It ends there and it starts there. So I know people are saying, well, Derek Carr better show up because he has no excuses. Well, if you play the game of football, you would know, or even if you understand the game of football, you don't have to play it, but you know that if you have no freaking offensive line, you're going to struggle regardless. Like, that's just common sense, bro. That's like playing three flies up in your backyard and no one's counting alligators because they're just freaking blitzing. Like, it's the same deal. So anyways, I don't understand the dynamic of when people, oh, there's no more excuses for Derek Carr. It's like, what are we doing? I don't know. That's just my opinion. Call it what you will. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started. And in order for me to formulate my analysis as we enter week one, we have to know the dynamics of the other 31 other NFL teams, which in this case includes the Los Angeles Chargers. And we're going to talk about the defense and front seven. We're going to talk about exactly what they're trying to do over there and exactly how GM Tom Telesco is really kind of scheming this thing up. At the end of the day, it's like this. We know division rivals, right? You're not going to do a lot of window shopping. You're not going to do a lot of trick plays. Now, different coaching staffs might add a little bit more wrinkles. And of course, we're going from a zone blocking scheme to a power-based, run-based scheme when it comes to the rushing attack. But at the end of the day, with traps and counters and all that, when you have the interior guards pulling one way and sealing off that unblocked edge defender. But at the end of the day, it's all comes down to fundamentals. And Coach McDaniels has done a very, very good job of teaching and preaching fundamentals. Look, the coaching staff can only do so much, right? They can only preach and teach so much. It's up to the players to now get it done. You can give a player the skill set and their tool set to go ahead and get it done, but it's up to the player to really embrace that role and take it on upon himself to go ahead and get it done on the field. A coach can't do it. He can't coach and preach and then obviously say, oh, this is how it's done and be on the field at the same time. You can't be at two places at once, bro. It's just impossible. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. I know you guys like these tickers up. And again, in order for us to really gauge what's going on with the other 31 other NFL teams, this is how I like to do business, because if I'm going to criticize or praise a player or a scheme or a coaching staff, you better know the dynamics of the other 31. And that's why here in the BEASTwriter family, here in the dark side of BEASTwriter, we cover all 32 NFL teams. We do, literally. And I got grace to prove it. So a lot of legwork goes into it, but at the end of the day, it's all good because I think in order for me to do the best job of my ability, not necessarily saying it's better, it's just different. I like to watch game film. I value game film above any other measurable when it comes to my own grading system. And so I don't go to the box score. Anybody can go to the box score and be like, oh, well, Dana Stubblefield got 15 sacks, and that's why he won Defensive Player of the Year. No, dude, it was because Bryant Young was eating the double teams. Let's not get it twisted. Holla at your boy. Come on, man. Like, let's keep it 100. Then he goes off to the Washington football team, well, then the Washington Redskins. And how many sacks did he have next to Dan Big Daddy Wilkinson? If I'm not mistaken, it was like 1.5. So you go from 15 to 1.5 the following year. You should have bought BY, future Hall of Famer. Now he's a Hall of Famer. A Lamborghini. I'm just saying, Dana, just saying. Number 94, it was 97 that was really eating up those double teams, allowing you those one-on-ones. And Coach Graham talked about this, right? He says, when you talk about defense, you have to win your one-on-one battles. If you can't win your one-on-one battles, you ain't going to be playing. That's mano a mano, cat versus cat coverage on the back end. If you can't do that, it's all for naught. Anyways, we're talking about the offensive line right now. We'll get to Coach Graham later on in the week as it comes to a close. But let's go ahead and talk about what we have going on. Let's talk about exactly what the Raiders have going on the offensive line and how I see this shaping up as they take on the Chargers and their defensive front seven. So let's start with the blind side left tackle, Colton Miller. All right. That is solidified. There's no guesswork involved. He's going to be the blind side left tackle. Cool story, bro. Left guard, John Simpson. Cool story, bro, because this is what I said in real time. This is the Beast Receipts check out. I said this 2-3 months ago. Andre James going to be the starter. Do I think he should be the starter? No, but I think it should be Dylan Parham because, again, live reps come into play. But at the end of the day, I do think it's a smart play to start Andre James initially because if you roll in Dylan Parham now and then revert back to Andre James, the chemistry is going to be thrown off. So I would rather do it this way because you have continuity along with the offensive line. He's familiar with the system. He's familiar with the NFL game, the speed, the conversion of the power. And Dylan Parham even admitted that that's something that he needs to work on as he enters his rookie season. Remember, the most growth for a player is from year 1 to year 2. So aside from the on-field stuff that you have to get used to, whether it be the speed of the game, the conversion of speed to power from the NFL game, whatever the case may be, there's a lot of off-field stuff that you have to deal with, like money. Like, dude, you're throwing millions of dollars, and you're in Vegas, dude. Like, are you going to gamble that money? Or what are you going to do? Like, you have so much money to play with. You had no money to begin with. So many dynamics come into play when you talk about going from year 1 into year 2. And Coach Belichick, when I asked him about Christian Barmore, that's the most growth. Same thing when I asked Jim Harbaugh when I was covering him with the San Francisco 49ers. The most growth is from year 1 to year 2. So Josh McDaniels, same thing, obviously, right? So all these good coaches are saying the same exact thing. Like, yes, year 1 to year 2 is where you're going to see the most growth. So that's why I think Andre James would be wise to start at center. Now, I do believe that Dylan Parham is going to win that starting role maybe midway to late in the season. He's going to start somewhere, would be at center or on the interior guard position on the right side, taking over Lester Cotton. But I think Lester Cotton's going to get that right guard position. And then obviously at right tackle with Alex Leatherwood now out to the Chicago Bears, I think that Jermaine Illuminor is his job to lose. All right. So that's how I see the starting lineup shaping up. Now that it's not official, this is just what I'm seeing in practice. And this is just an educated guess, right? It's a hypothetical educated guess. I don't know how it's going to shape up. Who knows? Dylan Parham could be the starting center for all I don't know. I don't know. This is just my guess. All right. This is just my prediction. Now watch me be wrong. Anyways, we're going to talk about Ronaldo Hill, the defensive coordinator. Let me put these tickers right here. All right. Ronaldo Hill. And before we talk about Ronaldo Hill, we're going to talk about we'll start with Ronaldo Hill since he's defensive coordinator. We're going to go in order. So Ronaldo Hill is obviously a former player, but he's running a 34 base 2-gap scheme. All right. So when you're running a 34 base 2-gap scheme and you're an offensive coordinator or offensive coach or offensive quality control coach, you're going to look at a 2-gap scheme and say, okay, what is the 2-gap scheme weakness? Well, you need to have strong edge setters on the edge. If you can't, even though we're an inside power type of a team, inside zone runner, we can kind of stretch plays horizontally to kind of keep the defenses honest. And what do the Los Angeles Chargers have on the edges? Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. All right, we're going to talk about those two guys later on in this podcast, but let's go ahead and start with Ronaldo Hill. He reunites himself with head coach Brandon Staley during their time in Denver. He was the defensive backs coach, while obviously Brandon Staley was the outside linebackers coach. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. And that's why, hey, coaching staffs flock together. This is if one coach gets fired, man, he's bringing his own guys. He wants his own guys, just like a GM wants his own players and his own coaching staff and his own scouting department. Same exact thing applies. You want your guys. You don't want someone else. You don't want dirty leftovers. I'm just saying it's not dirty kind of sloppy seconds, whatever the case may be, in their minds, because they want their guys. I would want the same thing. Like, if I was coming into a situation, I don't want Joe Schmo. Like, nah, man, like, I'm bringing in my guy because I know my guy and I'm familiar with my guy. My guy knows what to do. So that's just how it is. It's called continuity within the system, the structural system unit from top to down. All right. So we're going to go ahead and talk about Ronaldo Hill. And Ronaldo Hill is obviously a former player. He's very smart. He was the Chargers defensive coordinator last year, but we're going to talk about the personnel. All right. So in order for me to formulate my analysis when it comes to the Raiders offensive line, we can name drop players all we want. We can be, oh yeah, Lester Cotton struggled. So how's he going to go up against Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa? It's like, dude, like, let's look at it on a snap-by-snap basis. Let's actually look at it from a scheme standpoint and exactly what these teams are trying to accomplish on any given down. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the personnel. All right, the Los Angeles Chargers Inc. nose tackle Sebastian Joseph Day. And if you guys remember Sebastian Joseph Day, he's a familiar name. Why? Why is Sebastian Joseph Day a familiar name? Well, let me tell you something about Sebastian Joseph Day. Obviously, he comes from the LA Rams, but then obviously comes from Brandon Staley, right? So he reunites himself from the Los Angeles Rams. And if you remember last year, they had nose tackle Linval Joseph, who is, boom, see you later, because Brandon Staley wants his guys. He's familiar with Sebastian Joseph Day, so he inked him to a 3-year, $24 million contract, right? GM Tom Telesco inked him to a 3-year, $24 million contract. When you convert that and look at the other comparables, kind of like real estate, right? When you look at different houses in the area, you look at comparables, right? What's the comparable? Well, within the AFC West, what I talked about yesterday, my yesterday Pick 6 live stream, I talked about DJ Jones, and he inked a what? 3-year, $30 million contract, and played the same position. So if you look and peel back layers of the onion to get to the core, you can kind of value the prioritization of how they went into free agency before the draft took place. All right, so there's different layers to this. But what you really get is you get Sebastian Joseph Day. And I really like Sebastian Joseph Day because he can do a lot of different things. Look, he was one of the more underrated interior defensive linemen in my grading system when it comes to stuffing the run. All right, when it comes to stuffing the run. Now, is he going to be a Pro Bowl player? No, but is he good at stuffing the run and doing what he's asked to do and run fit integrity? Absolutely, all right? And he's coming off a torn pec injury. I bodybuild, so I had a torn pec as well. It's not fun. So a torn pec is basically a push movement injury. And basically, I don't know how that happened, but it happens. It happens with down in the trenches a lot of times because he's doing a lot of push-pull movements, all right? So when you see a guy that goes down to a torn pec, to me, it's like, it's common. Like, I hate to say it, but it is common. It's one of the more common injuries to occur down in the trenches because they're doing a lot of push-pull movements. And so he is coming off an injury. But, hey, GM Tom Telesco coming from the Ryan Grigson, Bill Bowling tree says, hey, man, I see value in 3-year, $24 million contract because if you, Coach Brandon Staley, if you think he's good, we're going to get him. We're going to revamp that defensive line. And that's exactly what they did. But they're not done yet. No, they wanted more guys. They're like bringing in the cavalry. Like, come on over, man. We got money to spend. They did it with J.C. Jackson in yesterday's live stream, and he was my number one ranked AFC West addition when it comes to unrestricted free agency, signing a 5-year, $82.5 million contract, $16.5 million APY, meaning that he's the 9th highest paid cornerback in terms of APY. All right. So what do? They spend more money on defense, more money on defense. Everybody gets paid like Oprah. Everybody wins. You get a paycheck. You get a paycheck. You get a paycheck. It's crazy, right? So what do? So aside from signing Joseph, you guys are laughing. Aside from signing Sebastian Joseph Day, they went ahead and waived Christian Covington. He was a starter last year, and they waived him, and they brought him back in the practice squad. Why? Because they brought in Austin Johnson, the Penn State product, who, by the way, every time I think of Austin Johnson back in 2016 when he was coming out of the draft process, and the 49ers were actually looking at Austin Johnson simply because they were transitioning from a 4-3 front to a 34 base under Chip Kelly. And I posted practice videos of that. And I was like, they're trying to convert Tank Carradine, who was a 4-3 defensive tackle / defensive end, and who Robert Saleh called him a elite 6 technique, which is taking on the tight end. How do I remember this? I don't know. I don't know how I remember this. Anyways, coming out of Florida State, this is what happened back, I believe it was in 2014, the same draft they got Marshawn Lattimore out of South Carolina, is what they went ahead and traded down 6 spots from 34 to 40 with the Tennessee Titans, picked up Tank Carradine, and the Titans picked up a wide receiver from Tennessee. I think his name's like something Hunter. Justin Hunter? Is that his name? I don't know. They picked up a wide receiver at 34. All right, John Robinson did. Okay, cool story. But anyways, getting back to it, they were trying to convert, Chip Kelly was trying to convert a 4-3 team into a 34 base, but they really didn't have the guns to do it. I mean, you're converting Ronald Blair to an outside linebacker. It's talk about a guy who can't flip his hips. That's not a knock on Ronald Blair. He's a beast. I called him Megatron. Actually, no, I called him Optimus Prime because of the multiple positions he could play. He actually liked that nickname. But you can't convert a guy that, like, you got to remember, the guy coming at Appalachian State is a 2-gapper, right? He can play a 1-gap scheme as a 3-tech, but, I mean, you're asking a lot. And then what happens now? Then you shrink him down, hit him on body analysis. Oh, he needs to drop 25, 30 pounds in order to play that 34 outside linebacker position. Okay, cool story. You're going to lose some power there, right? But anyways, they ink Austin Johnson. And that's why Christian Covington was back on the practice squad, because Austin Johnson's in town, and he's coming from the New York Giants, and he inked a 2-year, $14 million contract. So when you put that all together and see what the Las Vegas Raiders did when talking on comparables, 2 years, $11 million, who would I rather have, Austin Johnson or Bilal Nichols? Give me Bilal Nichols, please. Thank you very much, GM Dave Ziegler. So aside from that, this is what I'm seeing when it comes to the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, we're just talking about two players here and how that has a game of musical chairs that we spoke about yesterday in my yesterday's live stream. Like, you got to keep up. Like, we can talk all day, every day about every NFL team. I love talking football, but we're not done yet. No, we're taking the cavalry again. Let's bring them in. So what happens? Well, Matt Rule and GM Scott Fitter, formerly of the Seattle Seahawks, right? Talked about Scott Fitter, put up a YouTube live stream on him. Talked about him and how I like Scott Fitter, but they got rid of Morgan Fox after inking a 2-year deal, right? So he was already with the Chargers. He inked a 2-year deal last year, and then they freaking said, nope, we don't want you anymore, dude. And so now what happens? Now Morgan Fox is a free agent, and he signs with who? Reunites himself with Brandon Staley, because that's his guy, with the Los Angeles Chargers. Interesting, right? Morgan Fox. I know you guys like these little banners here, but no, let's talk about Morgan Fox. All right. So is he going to be some guy that you should be scared of? No. Like, I'm not scared of. Okay, no, I take that back. I'm scared of him. But what I'm really trying to say is the Raiders offensive line going to be scared of a guy like Morgan? No. Austin Johnson and Sebastian Joseph Day, very underrated as two-gap space eaters. But at the end of the day, you can kind of leverage your splits how you see fit. And you can dictate where the run is growing. And plus, you have Zeus White and Josh Jacobs. So it's up to the offensive line to blow up these freaking holes, man. But again, it comes down to edge pressure, right? We talk about the edge pressure. Chandler Jones and Max Crosby, one of the best 1-2 punches in the game. Then you have Joey Bosa combined with Khalil Mack, which, by the way, here's another Chicago Bear going to another good team. All right. And in my grading system, because yes, I run grades, and I'm just going to show you exactly what's going on. Let me pull it up right here. All right. So in my grading system, I graded both Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack over the last 3 years. No, every single snap. All right. And so this is what I found with Joey Bosa's game. All right. Over the last 3 years, he's very good as a pass rusher, but he kind of gives up a little too much in run fit integrity. Now you gotta be careful when you run the grading system, because the rules of engagement apply. Some coaches will say, hey, you know what? I don't care about as much as the run. Just go ahead and rush the passer, because that's what you do best. You're putting your player in the best position to make plays. But in putting that player in the best position to make plays, you don't also want to leave your second level backers out to dry when you're supposed to do a scrape exchange off a zone read option. Just saying it. So Greg Roman, who I used to cover with the San Francisco 49ers, right? Power guy. He's a power guy, right? And so he likes to run and run and run and run and chew up the clock, right? He took advantage of that and said, okay, Joey Bosa, you want to get upfield with that strong initial get off? We're just going to run right at you. What does that do? It teaches Joey Bosa to kind of throttle down, because now he has to play honest, right? And the Patriots did a good job at this. Also, the Raiders did a very good job at this in terms of run fit integrity and kind of keeping Joey Bosa honest in my grading system. However, in week 4 and week 18, when they played the Raiders, Joey Bosa's grade was saved simply because he's a top 5 pass rusher, because that's what he does best. So let's keep it playing a little devil's advocate. I'm not saying Joey Bosa is garbage. He's really good as a pass rusher. So he has 4 quarterback pressures and 2 strip sacks. All right. And the Raiders offensive line is not in my opinion, it's not much better than it was last year. So at the end of the day, are we going to see an encore performance from Joey Bosa in terms of the pass rush department? That remains to be seen. So in 14 games graded, when it comes to Joey Bosa, he had a concussion week 13 against the Bengals, and he was out with COVID-16 against the Texans. So I'm not going to grade him on those games, because he obviously wasn't playing, and he got injured in the first quarter of that week 13 matchup with the Cincinnati Bengals. So all in all, in 14 games graded and grading every single snap for Joey Bosa, he graded at a 5.4 out of 10, which is not even nearly a Pro Bowl level because of run fit integrity. So if you were to ask me if Joey Bosa is a top 5 edge rusher, I look at the full spectrum of things. I look at the overall grade. I look at the run grade, I look at the pass rush grade, and then I combine the two. That's how I run my grading system. To me, Joey Bosa is an elite top 5 pass rusher, but in run fit integrity, so I think that can play in the Raiders' favor. And we saw it in week 4 and also in week 18. So if you were to ask me if I'm scared of Joey Bosa, yes, obviously. But then again, you can kind of take away their strengths and kind of have them play honest and throttle them down, because at the end of the day, you can run right at them if they get too vertical upfield. And you can kind of mix and match too. You can have running backs coming out of the flat, so you can actually let Joey Bosa go. Like if he's lined up as a 6 technique or whatever, if he's lined up Y9 or whatever the case may be, all right? They don't use a Y9, but let's say he's lined up, whatever, outside the shoulder of the tackle, right? If he's coming, we can just run a bubble screen and then have our offensive tackles hit that second level, or have the interior guard hit the second levels, and then we're off and running to Josh Jacobs or Zeus White. So there's things you can do to kind of keep them honest, because then next play, well, you're going to do it again. We're just going to do it again. Or you can counter that. You can play a little reverse psychology with them. So there's a lot of different things we can do here. All right. But then we're not done with Joey Bosa. We have Khalil Mack to deal with, because freaking they got Khalil Mack. Oh my gosh. Trouble. But I graded Khalil Mack, right? And he graded extremely well. All right. In 6 games graded. I graded him last year, 3 years in a row, but he graded at an all-pro level in my grading system, 8.7 out of a 10. All right. And he had the perfect grade against the Raiders when he played them in week 5. He had 2 tackle wins, 3 quarterback pressures, 1 quarterback hit, and also 1 sack. So when you add that all together from a pass rush perspective, you know Brandon Staley's going to freaking bring the pressure and apply the pressure. All right. So the question remains to be seen, how are the Raiders going to neutralize that? Right? How are the Raiders going to neutralize that at the point of attack? Well, luckily, they have a good coaching staff. And this is what I saw in practice. And if you guys want to see the practice videos, I strongly encourage you to watch all my practice videos. Just go back, click on the videos, and you can scroll through all the videos. It's all time-stamped and dated for you guys, along with the description box of exactly what's going on, because I want to give you guys a full rundown of what I'm seeing, and then you guys can formulate your own analysis, obviously. But there's a lot of stuff going on when it comes to practice and preaching fundamentals and technique. And this is why I take these videos, because I know exactly what they're looking for. I know exactly what they're trying to accomplish. For instance, Coach Clemens, the assistant offensive line coach, he's seen working with the tight ends. Why? Because tight ends were working on inline blocking, chipping the edge rusher, right, with tackle dummies. What do we want to call them, right? And they were using Darren Waller, Foster Moreau, you name it. All the Cole Fotheringham, all these guys, Bowers when he was in there, teaching how to inline block. Along with the offensive linemen, go figure, combo reach blocks. Then hitting the second level. Boom! So you don't think in order to neutralize Joey Bosa or Khalil Mack, you're going to have added pressure? And no, you are. You're going to see Josh McDaniels, Coach McDaniels, use a lot of 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight end sets, right? And the reason you do that is because you want to slow down those edge rushers. And if you need to chip the tight end in order to help out that offensive tackle that you're playing next to in his pass sets, so he can have that extra split second to go ahead and be in proper leverage technique, then you're going to go ahead and do that, son. It's okay. It's all part of scheme. Look, an empire wasn't built overnight. And the freaking people who say, oh, GM Dave Ziegler is horrible because the Raiders' offensive line is garbage, and oh my gosh, it's like, dude, you just look at it for what it really is. They picked up freaking Chandler Jones. They traded for Davante Adams. That alone in free agency, we're not talking about the draft grades. We're talking about just that. Draft is a different story where he hit it out of the ballpark. He did a really good job. And then he picked up future draft capital. So come on. When you look at it, and again, how do I understand that he's doing a good job? Because I grade the other 31 other NFL teams. I'm telling you guys, I can do this blind. Look, you want to talk about the Rams, even though we're talking about the Chargers, we can talk about Les Snead if you want. We can do it. Trust. But at the end of the day, we're talking about what exactly are the Raiders trying to do this year, right? And expectations are high, but they also play in the AFC West. So division games where it's already a freaking brutal bloodbath, It's going to be even harder. Dude, I'm telling you, the AFC West is loaded, yo. Like, you guys have to know that it's not going to be as simple and clear cut and dry as people make it out to be. Look, we got Chiefs fans in here. My man, Jeff KC, he knows I keep it 100, right? I talk about the Chiefs. I talk about the Raiders, talk about the Chargers, talk about the Broncos. We talk about all these different teams. I don't give a thing, right? So when it comes to GM Brett Veach, all right, GM Brett Veach, very good GM. I even tweeted this out. I think I don't care. The AFC West has the best GMs overall in the entire NFL. That's not throwing shit at the NFC West when they have John Lynch, John Schneider, Les Snead. I'm not hyping. I'm not downplaying them. They're good in their own right. I mean, you talk about John Schneider, who does well picking in the 5th round, right? Cam Chancellor, the puncher, Michael Dickerson, right? So they can find talent. Richard Sherman, I think, wasn't he drafted in the 5th round, if I'm not mistaken? Correct me if I'm wrong, out of Stanford. I don't know. But he drafts well in the 5th round. Doesn't do very well at the top heavy at the top of the round. He likes to go after freaking Big 12 products. I don't know why. Check the Beast receipts. They do. I mean, you got to figure out tendencies, man. I'm telling you. The intel that they're getting, something from the Big 12, I don't know, tells me that they're going after Big 12 heavy. So that's why when I formulate my mock drafts, that's why I beat Mel Kiper. That's why I beat Todd McShay. That's why I beat all Charles Davis, all of them for the last 2 years straight. I go up against the best, and those guys are the standard. If I can beat those guys, I'm looking, or stay. I shouldn't say beat them. If I can stay up to par with them, And so far, ever since I started doing this and covering the mock drafts and everything, it all checks out. I can't say I did or didn't say it. It's all out there for you guys. I'll timestamp. I can be like, oh no, I lied. Oh no, I said this and that. Don't be a flip-flopper. I call it the triple F. Don't be a flip-flopper fake. Don't flip your analysis after posting it in real time to hindsight. That's just like, nah, man, you lose credibility that way real quick. And I see people do that all the time. It's like, oh, I never said that. It's like, nah, dude, you were just on my live stream saying that it was going to be Mac Jones, and I said it was going to be Trey Lance. Oh, well, they wanted Mac Jones, but they got Trey Lance. Robert Pena says, from what I've seen, believes short screens and our run game will set the tempo. It will. That's very, 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 very true. G King says, you should get a sponsorship from Beast Mode Gangsta Raider. I have no idea who Gangsta Raider is, but I am more than happy to explore that option. Look, opportunities are coming. Like over the weekend, I was talking to some people, I'm not going to name drop who, but obviously the live streams are really hitting off, right? The live streams and the content that I post and the practice videos and the tweets and everything's doing pretty well relative to me, right? I'm small time compared to all the other guys, but comparative to me, I think I'm doing okay. I think I'm holding my own. At the end of the day, I'm just so blessed to be in this position. I don't know how else to explain it. I'm just having fun talking football with you guys because let's be honest, I was supposed to work out today. I did, but I cut my workout short because I was like, you know what? There's a thought that came in my mind. And when I'm at the gym, I'm always constantly thinking. So like if you see me at the gym at EOS off St. Rose Parkway, just down the street from here, and you see me kind of like in the zone, I'm probably thinking about football. Like I'm not even kidding with you. Like I'm probably thinking about like football, like, okay, who's going to do well in fantasy? Okay, like how's this going to play out? And with this, okay, this injury popped up on the injury report. So is he going to be active? He's not going to be active. Okay, how do I see the game actually playing out? What's the time of possession? What's the down and distance that I see red zone efficiency being? What's the rate that's going to be happening? There's all these different things that freaking pop in my head. And so like literally I came back from the gym. I was like, I'm going to cut my workout short. I'm not going to hit my fasted cardio. I'm just going to come back because I did a fasted workout. And I said, I'm going to hop on this live stream and just do it. I'm just going to go on and just do this live. And I don't know what the hell I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to talk about the defensive front side of the Chargers versus the Raiders offensive line. And here we are today. Hopefully I'm doing a good job because if I'm not, say I suck. But how do you stop a formal pass rush duo, right? And I talked about establishing the run, just like you said. And you want to take away the get off and making them play honest versus the run, right? That's exactly how you neutralize a good pass rush. You do that, you neutralize their number one skill set, which is rushing the passer. So now not only are you saving the offensive line and doing them a service, but you're also saving the offensive tackles. I don't know how to say. I don't want to call out the offensive tackles, but let's be honest, the offensive tackles, even Colton Miller, right? Like as good as he is, he might struggle going against Bosa and Khalil Mack because those guys are on a different level. I'm not saying Colton Miller is not a Pro Bowl type player because he definitely is. But what I'm saying is these guys are all pro players. These guys are all pro players. So by forcing them to throttle down, it allows Derek Carr to operate off what? The play action pass. And I think that's what you're going to see in this game moving forward. And that allows who to get open? Tight end Darren Waller to work down the seams and Hunter Renfrow to work the middle where the linebackers can't squat on those routes because you have Darren Waller running down the seams, which is why Darren Waller needs to be earned a new money deal. All right, so you're going to see a lot of chipping off the line of scrimmage. That's what you're going to get from them. All right, let's go ahead and open this up. I hope you guys liked what I had to say because I don't know. If you don't like it, then give it a thumbs down. But give this video a thumbs up right now. If you're watching this live, please give it a thumbs up. Drop your comments. I'm going to be toggling back and forth on the social media here because you guys like to throw me DMs, private messages, public messages. What's up, G says, in your grading, how much credit demands would an O-line get for going against a Pro Bowl player like Joey Bosa, where it's weighted? I think, you have to weight it. That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, like if you have a guy like, Aaron Banks, I'm just going to call. I'm not saying he sucks, all right? Because if I can do it, oh, yeah, you can do it, bro. No, I can't do it. So I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, it's easy. It's like, no, dude, like being a professional player is not easy. But let's say Aaron Banks, interior offensive guard, right? Let's say he goes up against a guy like Fletcher Cox from Philadelphia Eagles, right? Or, one of these Pro Bowl, to me, Fletcher Cox is not an all pro anymore. Just because of the way my grading system racks up, I think there's other players like like Jeffrey Simmons from the Tennessee Titans. He would be considered an all-pro player in my grading system. I mean, the guy just makes others better. I mean, Jeffrey Simmons is a beast. And I called it out when he was drafted too. I was like, man, he had a torn ACL, but this guy can be a top 10, 15 pick. And he had some red flags coming out too, but that's for another story. But look, you look at the interior guard play and you look at the offensive tackle and O-line as a whole, and it's unfair to say Daniel Brunskill or right tackle Mike McGlinchey, who was drafted number 9 overall, right after Roquan Smith was drafted number 8. You can't even, and Colt Miller came in and he was drafted number 14. You can't sit there and be like, oh yeah, well, you can expect right tackle Mike McGlinchey to hold his own against all pro talent because you can't. However, you do have a job to do. So it doesn't matter if you're going against Joey Bosa, if you're going against a freaking, a third string player. It really doesn't matter. Like, you have to get the job done. Do your job. That's the right way. So it is weighted, but it's not weighted as much as people would make it out to seem, because at the end of the day, it's apples to apples. You're comparing a player on any given rep to beat that other player. And both players get paid, by the way. So you can't win all your battles. Keith Pardini says, Beast, do you think Darrell Williams would be a smart? Oh my gosh. Okay. The question with this is, I don't think it would be a smart pickup simply because that is a stopgap at best. And yes, you guys can look at that and be like, oh, well, we need help at right tackle. But let's be honest, this coaching staff, despite reports, despite what other people are saying, I believe, this is my opinion, all right? This is not fact. This is just my opinion. I'm entitled to my own opinion. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. I think they want to see what they have at right tackle before they go on and delve into free agency with just a week away going into free agency. That's just my opinion. Now, watch me be wrong. Watch them sign Darrell Williams, but I don't see that happening. But now watch it happen. All right. Jaguar Par says, if it's true what everybody seems to say regarding Darrell Williams being superior than who we have now, why wouldn't we kick the tires? Love Carr, but under pressure he gets down more times than not. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. G King says, I'm Gangster Raider. Oh, you're a Gangster Raider. I see you. All right. Jaguar Paul says, if it's true what everybody seems, we got that one. Robert Penas, we got some other questions. We got, dang, I know some of you guys are on YouTube right now and Twitter, but then you're commenting on Instagram and it's the same handle. So it's kind of confusing me. Andrew Castro says, celebrating a division win in less than a week. We'll have predictions for those pass rushes, including runs and screens. What folks are sleeping on is our defense. PG has got a big brain too. Yes, he does. And we talked about that yesterday on yesterday's live stream, how they're going to do the rules of engagement on the back end. And also you have to have a high level thought process because again, you can't just know and understand your responsibility. You have to know exactly how the scheme is going to apply against the pressure when it comes to your opponents and know their scheme as well. So this is one of those coaching staffs where if you're not smart, I hate to say it, but it's true. If you're not smart, you're not going to be playing. Like if you're dumb, you're not going to be playing. Dumb is, I shouldn't say dumb. That's a bad. No, if you're dumb, you're not going to be playing. I don't know what else to say. You have to be smart. Like, I don't know how. I know what else to say. You have to be smart. Like, you have to watch film. You can't be like Kyler Murray and watch only 4 hours of. Which, by the way, what the hell? I watch 80 hours of film a week. He only watches 4. Like, what are you watching? 2 drives? I'm serious. When you dissect a play on a case-by-case basis and you're watching all 22 players on the field and you're grading that snap, that takes time. So when you watch 4 hours a week, I laugh at that. I watch 80 hours, 10 hours a day. I'm not joking. I don't know how he does it, but hey, how the heck did he win Offensive Rookie of the Year back in 2019 when he we don't even know if he watched his rookie year. That's the crazy thing. That means he's so talented that he can just do this blind. But hey, this is the NFL. No longer can you walk into a classroom and ace the test because fundamentals play a role and technique plays a role and being fundamentally sound plays a role and discipline plays a role. Andrew Castro says you have to show you can learn and not make the same mistake twice. Yes, as Jim Harbaugh would always say, let's not be a repeat offender. Yeah, he always said that. Don't be a repeat offender. All right, if you guys like the channel and you like the work and you like what I provide here on the YouTube channel, please consider sending me and donate a super chat or super sticker. A little goes a very long way. It's a money icon in the chat that you're looking at right now. You guys can choose the option of how much you want to choose. But yeah, if you guys want to send me a super chat or would like to donate to the channel, please feel free to do so. It'd be much appreciated. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some other things and questions that you guys have. Jamie, typically I would just do a super chat and answer your questions. If you send me a super chat, then I would answer that question, but it's all good, dude. What's good? Because from what you've seen at practice, do you think the offense looks good out of the gates or will it take time to gel? Mahalo. Jamie, that's a very good question. I would say usually the offense is ahead of the defense when you talk about, well, it's different because the rules of engagement, right? So like under Patrick Graham's system, they're both kind of complex. I would say typically when it comes to the Raiders offense, well, let's talk about the Raiders offense then. I think they look good. Now, will they struggle out of the gates? It all depends on the offensive line. It all depends on how they handle the tackle and stunts. Because you know damn well that Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack are be screaming off, whether it be the B gap or the C gap. And you know dang well that Sebastian Joseph Day, who's going to be the nose tackle, and Morgan Fox, and obviously Austin Johnson, who I just mentioned, and Chris Covington, who I just mentioned. You know these guys are going to be trying to eat up those double teams and kind of slant block their way, allowing a free pass for Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa to kind of run those end arounds or stunts or twists, whatever the case may be, right? So again, the Raiders practice this. The Raiders coaching staff preaches this because I've seen it. But then they still mess it up in the preseason with Lester Cotton. They still mess it up in the preseason with other guys. So to me, it all starts with the offensive line. I can't give you a definite answer because if it was just 7-on-7 football, yeah, I would say the Raiders would do well because you're not counting for the offensive line. But if you're freaking just talking 11-on-11 against an all-pro cast in the Los Angeles Chargers, which has a mean defensive front seven that plays in the 34-2 gap scheme, that's a different story. Because again, let's be honest about one thing and one thing only. The offensive line is in trouble. But every team has their weaknesses. Their Chargers have weaknesses, which I'll exploit later in this live stream. Or not this live stream, probably the next live stream. I like to break it down by positional units so you guys can kind of see where my brain is at. Keith Murray, thank you so much for Mahalo for the super chat. I appreciate it. It's been a long time. Hope everything is well. Keith Murray, thank you so much, man. Keith Murray is a Niner fan, but he hops on here and he knows football. I like Keith because we talk about it and like we keep it 100. We talked about the Trey Lance dynamic, and I said, yeah, it's going to be Trey Lance. But we also, I don't know. I like Justin Fields. I thought he would be a good play. To be honest with you, I thought he would be. I liked him better coming out than Trey Lance, but I like Trey Lance's potential. But potential doesn't mean much if you don't live up to the hype. See, that's the thing. It's like all these. Jamarcus Russell had high potential. He can throw it from his knees and 100 yards, like downfield. It's like, okay, but how does that translate onto the football field? Like, that's like me going to the gym and me benching 345 pounds, which I can, but I mean, how's that translate on the football field? Is it functional strength or is it not? Let's be honest about that. It depends. It could be, but is it really? I don't know. What's up, G says fantasy football question. What does the Raiders target share look like with Adams, Waller, and Renfro? That's a good fantasy football question. And I will go ahead and answer that later on in a later live stream. But the way I see it shaping up is if all things created equal and everyone's healthy, I think Hunter Renfro is going to eat the lion's share of those reps. I think I already tweeted this out, man. I said that he's going to be the offensive player of the year. Why? Because all the focus is going to be on Devontae Adams taking away the double teams. And look, the teams that they're facing, they play a lot of cover 1 and cover 3. Yeah, they're going to possibly be playing a little bit more cover 2 because obviously with Darren Waller and Devontae Adams lined up on the same side of the formation, you kind of want to split your pre-snap splits accordingly so you can kind of not give this free safety or the strong safety, however you want to line them up, real estate or less real estate to work with, right? That's what you want because obviously Devontae Adams and Darren Waller running down the seams, it's going to drive safeties crazy. And by the way, you better have 2 safeties that can cover because if you can't, it's all for naught. You can't have the days of the Steve Atwater, the Tim McDonald days, of the Leroy Butlers where they're just a traditional box safety. No, you got to be able to do both. All right. You got to be able to do both. You got to be able to stop the run and then play as a single high free safety. If not the single high free safety, you better be able to cover your assignment from hash to the numbers or even hash to the boundary, depending on the coverage assignment. If it's quarter, half, or if it's quarters coverage. All I got to say about that. I don't know. I just think if you're going to be drafting a player or looking for a player, that's why Tyrann Mathieu was such a huge blow to the Kansas City Chiefs. Talked about it yesterday. Anybody who says the Chiefs are going to be like the same team on the back end is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous to me. But yeah, that's how I see that one shaping up. And I hope that answers your question. All right. So we have some other things going on. We have some other tweets happening right now. We have some Instagram DMs. Oh, there's an Instagram post right here. We got some Facebook stuff going on. Some in all the Facebook groups. So that's popping up right now. Dang. Okay, let's start with now I'm confused. You guys have the same handle, so it's really confusing when I toggle back and forth. I make it look seamless, but it's really not. I'm like confused as hell right now. Let's start with Facebook because that's the one that's up right now. All right, and by the way, if you're on Facebook, you have to give StreamYard not access to your profile because they can sneak on your profile, but basically for me to see that you posted the comment, it will just say Facebook user unless otherwise noted based on your permission. So there's that. And StreamYard is 100% safe. Otherwise, I wouldn't be using it. All right, or paying for it. It's a streaming service that I pay for. Okay, so getting back to it, let's go ahead and talk about some questions that are asked here when it comes to Los Angeles Chargers. Oh, here's one. He says, you were right. You said Asante Samuel should have been the Niners pick over Aaron Banks, and he said Banks would be a healthy scratch. I rewatched the video. See, I ain't joking. I am not joking, guys. Checking off another Beast receipt, which, by the way, if you talk about, and I talked about it yesterday on yesterday's live stream, there's only 5 Delaware products in the entire NFL right now. All right. And of those 5 players, 2 of them are going to be playing this weekend. And that's Nasir Adderley, who I really liked coming out, and obviously Bilal Nichols. So my hat's off to those guys. And obviously Rich Gannon also played for Delaware. So for all you Raider Nation fans, reminiscing about the early 2000s, late 90s, Rich Gannon was also there. Which, by the way, I keep on saying by the way because I keep on referring back to the past. But Charlie Garner was so fun to watch. Like number 25, Charlie Garner. And I tweeted this up earlier because I saw some YouTube highlights. Like, man, I used to watch that guy when he was on the San Francisco 49ers. And I remember when Garrison Hurst went down to that gruesome ankle injury where he broke his fibula in that NFC Championship game against the Atlanta Falcons. And I was like, oh, man, that's over. We're not going to the Super Bowl in 1998. That's the Dirty Bird Central with Jamal Anderson and some of these other guys, which, by the way, LG Crumpler was on that team. I think Dan Reeves was the head coach. Oh my God. How do I remember this? Because I played Madden. That's why. And I was like, dude, I'm going to play Madden and just like ram this team. Like, Arr! But yeah, they had Ray Buchanan. You guys remember Ray Buchanan, number 34? He used to do like this with the Dirty Bird. Jamal Anderson did this. Jamal Anderson was the best one at doing it, though. All the other ones just kind of, it was just like that's cool. Who was the kick returner? Gosh dang. Then he played for the Chargers. I think it was Dwight Dwight something. I want to say his name is Dwight something. He used to do his touchdown celebration was he would get the football and he would pretend it was a beer can and then he would sip it. I forgot his name now. And then Madden put that in the video game. I thought that was kind of interesting and fun. What was his name? Jeez. Gosh. I think it was number 80. He was a small, diminutive, yet shifty, kind of like all punt returners these days. Lateral agility was there. The elusiveness, the forced missed tackles. Next gen stats wasn't around then, so we didn't have forced missed tackles. Yeah. Harry Ruiz says, my man says, Aloha Beast, fantastic job, my brother. Much respect. Thank you so much, Harry. I appreciate it. Go follow my man, Harry Ruiz. He is also a guy that covers the Raiders with me. He's a Raiders reporter. And if you guys don't follow him, he is on Twitter. He is also on Instagram. He is also here on YouTube. So I'm going to put this up, leave this up for a little bit so you guys can follow my man, Harry Ruiz. Harry Ruiz and me talked about, thanks to Harry Ruiz, I was on Raider Nation Radio. What was it, last week, Harry? And we were talking, is that last week already? God dang, time flies. Anyways, I think it was last week. It is because it's Sunday. So, or it's Monday. See, I don't even remember a day. Every day is the same day for me because I just grind. To be honest with you, I don't remember the days. I just know that when I'm not at Raiders headquarters, it's like, okay, I'm not working. But then I'm always working because I'm always doing live streams and stuff. So, or going to the gym or whatever. So every day is the same. It's like 1 week. A week to some people is just like one long day for me because nothing changes. Like my life is very consistent. I work and then I do more work. Like that's just how I like to do it. Like there is no stopping here. And people say, are you going to get burnt out? Like, no, dude, I don't get burnt out because I've been doing this. This is how I live my lifestyle. Like, my lifestyle is very like demanding and I'm demanding of myself. So anybody who says, oh, you're going to get burnt out, it's like, man, you really don't know me, man. Like when I competed and was hopping on live streams when I covered the Niners, people were like, how do you do that? It's like, dude, you just do it. Like there's no excuses. Like you either do it or you don't do it. Either way, the judges aren't going to feel sorry for you because, I had to interview Jimmy Garoppolo today, so I wasn't able to get my fasted cardio in this morning because I had to do a late cardio session the night earlier. Like no one gives a crap. Like cool story, bro. We all have problems. We all have issues. Deal with it. Everybody has 24 hours in a day. It's what you choose to do with those 24 hours. Holla at your boy. Keep it 100. Those are the facts. All right. So Salvatore Bruno says Ray Buchanan became a Raider. I think he did. True knowledge, Salvatore Bruno. Good job. And I liked Ray Buchanan. I liked him coming out. And I shouldn't say coming out of college because that was like, I think that was a little before. I think he was drafted by the Indianapolis Colts, if I'm not mistaken. See, we can talk about any team, but I know he was on the Indianapolis Colts. Correct me if I'm wrong. Someone Wikipedia it. Let me know if I'm on the right track when it comes to Ray Buchanan, number 34. I think he was with the Indianapolis Colts. Correct me if I'm wrong. Salvatore Bruno says he was a Colt, Falcon, then Raider. Then, yeah, so he was a Colt, Falcon, then Raider. There you go. Bam. How do I remember this? I don't know, man. People ask me, how do you, like, you're like a dictionary. Like, dude, there's a reason why. Again, I keep on showing this, but I like to read. Like, one thing I like to do is I like to, knowledge is power for me. And so, like, I like to read every little thing, every little tidbit that I can get, because then you can start connecting the dots. If you don't have the knowledge to connect the dots, you're not going to know what to look for. Same when like evaluating practice. Like when I evaluate practice, I try to connect the dots. That's why I watch game film, right? So, but again, watching game film, you can't just be like this and like, oh, that was a nice throw. Like that was a nice throw to the flat. It's like, nah, man, he got Fugud there. So that curl flat defender was in a compromised position because the offensive coordinator just ran two route concepts, and the curl flat defender just got caught by the eye candy coming out of the flat when his real assignment was supposed to be the curl first, then the flat. And that wide receiver one just ran behind him, snuck around behind him on that shallow dig route, and boom, big gain for a first down. But then some people will be like, oh man, that was a nice throw to the flat. It's like, nah, man. It's not how it goes. Kevin Lurker said, thank you so much for the super chat and super sticker. Appreciate the love, man. He says, what did the staff not like about Darius Phillips? That's a good question. I don't know. What I do know is when Coach McDaniels was on the podium, and I could be wrong, but I think the question did pop up, and don't quote me on this. I have to look back at the transcripts, but this doesn't have to pertain to Darius Phillips, just in general. Competition allowed other players to step up to the plate. Oh, it was in regards to Trayvon Mullen. Excuse me. The question was asked on Trayvon Mullen, why they traded him. And look, Coach McDaniels just said iron sharpens iron. Look, I even used that term for those who are new to follow me. Iron sharpens iron before the Raiders started using that term. For real. I said this like 4 months ago. I said, watch, this is the Raider culture identity. And I freaking listed the sayings that would, the mentality of the Raider way. Iron sharpens iron, right? Doing your job, right? Fundamentals, being fundamentally sound, being disciplined. And it all holds true today. How do I know that? Because again, you have to know the dynamics of the coaching staff that's coming into play, as well as the positional coaches that are coming to play, teaching the proper techniques in order for you to understand exactly what the Raider way is in the first place. So when it comes to Darius Phillips, I thought he was going to make the team. I thought this guy could be a returner. He added value in special teams. That's the third phase of the game that I talked about in Raider Nation Radio for trying to make a roster. So that was one of like, I think 5 I got wrong. I think I was like 47 out of 53. Or 48 out of 53, one of those two. I think it was 48 out of 53. Anyways, that was one of like 5 I got wrong, and I was sad about that because I hate being wrong. Like, I don't like being wrong. It's like when you ask somebody during the combine or during the draft process in that 15-minute formal combine interview, whatever you want to call it, and they say, hey, man, do you love to win or hate to lose? Which one? You have to pick one. And some people be like, what do you mean? Do I love to win or hate to lose? Like, nah, man, like, which one do you prefer? Like, do you love to win or do you hate to lose? For me, I hate to lose. I hate losing. I talked about this earlier. Around Thanksgiving and Christmas time, I'll be with my nieces, my nephews, and we'd be playing like shoots and ladders and crap and like that. And if they win, I get upset. And I don't care if they're 5 years old. I don't care if they're 3 years old. I get mad. I do. I get mad. And I'll walk away and they'll be like, how come Uncle Ryan's not playing with me? And it's like, nah, dude, leave me alone for 5 minutes. Let me cool down. I'm not joking. My family knows this too. And then also with my cousins who are the same age, when we play, what were we playing? We were playing like Family Jeopardy, right, in Sacramento. My cousins cheat. Shelly, if you're watching, you cheat. You cheat. I saw you cheating. I don't like cheaters never prosper. But no, that's what's going on with Darius Phillips. I was surprised, Kevin, that he was actually released, waived, whatever the case may be. I thought he was going to make the team, but ultimately they like Sam Webb more, right? And Coach McDaniels actually pointed out Sam Webb in regards to why Trayvon Mullen wasn't retained. And they said, guys like Sam Webb, he actually said the name Sam Webb, other guys had the opportunity to step up and they fulfilled their limited opportunities. And throughout the preseason, if you read the transcripts and kind of memorize stuff, you can kind of figure out exactly what Coach McDaniels is trying to convey to us in the media. He's basically saying, hey, look, iron sharpens iron, but competition where limited opportunities are valuable or most valuable because they are limited, you have to make the most of those opportunities. So when you talk about guys like Tayshaun Bauer who stepped up, when you talk about some of these other borderline bubble players going into the preseason that really stepped up in the limited opportunities that they had, they really shined and took advantage and ran with it. And so how can you not keep these players on the roster when they really shined in those limited opportunities? I mean, a small sample size to pull from, but it's still a sample size to pull from. And so from a coaching perspective, I think Coach McDaniels and GM Dave Daly did a very, very nice job in formulating the best 53, because ultimately that's what you want. And when people talk about keeping 5 running backs, like I did with my man Harry Ruiz, which I'll put up his comment right here because I want you guys to follow him, is he asked me, he's like, hey, Beast, like, what's your take on the 5 running backs? Do you think that was a smart move? I said, absolutely. Why? Because Josh Jacobs is in a contract year. He's going to outplay his contract here in Las Vegas. I'm not saying that he's not going to be re-signed, but odds are that's not the Patriot Raider way in re-signing players, especially at the running back position when you just drafted Zeus White in the 4th round and also declined Josh Jacobs' 5th round option and then also drafted Britton Brown. And you kept Britton Brown for a reason because you know that Britton Brown and Zeus White are the future while Josh Jacobs is the present. This is not taking away from Josh Jacobs. Again, I'm a huge Roll Tide Roll fan, but I'm just keeping him 100. I don't think Josh Jacobs is going to return next year. Not because he's not good, not because I don't think he's worth it, because I definitely think he is a top 5 running back, top 5 to 10 running back in the NFL. I just think the Raider way and Patriot way is, hey, look, we can allocate some of those funds in other positions, mainly the offensive line, right? So next year, when I look at the 2023 draft, and the offensive line is not very good, by the way. So they're going to have to do something in free agency. If you look at the 2023 free agency class, again, this is what I do. I always try to stay 2 steps ahead. Like I'm already looking to next year when it comes to college film and grading players. And that's why when I put up my Beast receipts and I retweet old stuff is because I want you guys to know what I had to say in hindsight. It's all timestamped. I can't say I said it or didn't say it. And I call myself out when I get it wrong too, which is not very often, but I love calling myself out too when I get it wrong because I hate being wrong. So there it is. Sean Gielan says Tim Dwight from Iowa. There you go. It was Tim Dwight. I said Dwight. I knew it was Tim. That's right. Tim Dwight. Wasn't he number 80? I don't know what number he was. I want to say he was number 80 or 87 or something like that. Definitely not 88. Definitely not 89. Definitely not 86. I want to say he was 80 or 89 or something. I don't know. I want to say it was number 87. Anyways, yeah, Tim Dwight. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. That pretty much is going to wrap up this live stream. We've been on for exactly 1 hour and 2 seconds. Thank you so much, everyone, for the super chat and super stickers that you provided today. I am going to go ahead and also I run giveaways, right? So I just want to give a shout out to Al Zato for winning this 22 alumni rally towel that I got at Levi Stadium, at Allegiant Stadium. And they were passing this out during the alumni Once a Raider, Always a Raider game. And this is actually mine. So I'm going to be giving this again. I'm going to run giveaways for all you guys just as a thank you for you guys. So Al, if you're watching, this is yours, man. You won. And also thank you everyone for the super chat and super stickers. I appreciate it. Keith Murray, thank you so much. I appreciate it, man, for the super chat. And it's been a while, man. It really has been a while, but I'm glad you popped in. And hopefully, even though this is Dark Side of BEASTwriter, we talk about mainly the silver and black. We cover all 32 NFL teams, as you know. So we can talk about all you Niner fans are still sliding in my DMs asking about the offensive line. Look, you have beat writers who actually know more about the team than I do. I'm not a beat writer with the Niners anymore. But then you guys go, oh, no, we want to know what you have to say. It's like, dude, I don't know. I'm not there. I don't know. But I can tell you my thought process from not being there, what I think. But and usually it checks out. But either way, it is what it is. Like, I don't know. The Niners offensive line is not good. But I said this 2 years ago. I said this problem was going to happen. The Beast receipt checks out. What did I tell you guys 2 years ago? I said, man, they need to do something about that offensive line 2 years ago. Otherwise, when 2022 hits, they're going to be in a freaking bind because, again, you have to look at the contracts that are coming up. You have to look at the free agencies that are coming up. You have to look and prioritize exactly what's coming out in the draft and where the cream of the crop of the positional unit is. Like, this is what I do. Like, come on, bro. Like, are you serious? Like, dude. All I'm saying is, man, the Raiders' offensive line, the Niners, there's a lot of NFL teams where the offensive line is not very good. But then you have teams like the freaking Indianapolis Colts who have Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly, right? Guys like these who are just, they're good. You can't say they're not good. They're really good. That offensive line, that offensive unit is pretty much stabilized. And again, the Philadelphia Eagles have a good, strong offensive line. In fact, this question was asked, do I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win the division? And my cousin, who's a diehard Philadelphia Eagles fan from Philly, asked me this. And I said, you know what? I know all signs point to Dallas Cowboys, but their offensive line is not as good as it was in years past. I mean, Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick. Remember Travis Frederick? For our United fans, how'd they get Travis Frederick? Well, they moved down in that trade with the San Francisco 49ers. If I'm not mistaken, they traded what? So they went from 31st to number, gosh, what was number 18? Correct me if I'm wrong. They traded 31st. I'm doing this blind. 31st to number 18 to pick up who? The strong safety, Eric Reed, whose brother is playing for who? The Kansas City Chiefs, who people say who is going to be better than Tyron. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Sorry. But anyways, getting back to Travis Frederick, yeah, he was a guy that they drafted in the first round, till in the first round, number 31 overall. And then obviously Eric Reed came to town when the Niners and GM Trent Baalke traded up for Eric Reed. And I liked Eric Reed coming out, but I thought he was going to be box safety, which he is. He's a box safety. But he had a pretty good career. I mean, he was smart. He was football savvy, took proper angles to the ball carrier, team captain, LSU, Power 5 conference. Not bad. Not bad. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for the super chat and super stickers. Kevin, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, man. You're too kind. You also, guys, will be, anyone who sends me super chat, super stickers, and anyone who likes the video will be entered for our weekly giveaways that I run, and exactly how we do things. We're going to be launching some Dark Side of BEASTwriter swag. You guys know how we do it in the BWF is I'm trying to find a really high quality vendor. I'm all about quality over quantity. I've always been that way. And so I'm trying to find a high quality vendor that does the best work. I mean, the price is going to be the price, but I want the best work. And so when it comes to custom embroidery, custom patchwork, custom threads, I'm all about quality, and I'm going to go ahead and provide that for you. All the stuff is going to be made and designed in the US, and I'm going to support the mom and pop shops here in the local Las Vegas area, because being a small business owner myself, I know the true grind it takes, and I can appreciate the small mom and pop shops here in the Las Vegas area. And there's a few that popped up, and thank you for everyone who's sending me DMs and recommendations on those merchandise swag companies. I appreciate the love. But that'll probably be it right now. I'm going to hop on another live stream tomorrow. We have practice tomorrow, and I will be there giving you the lowdown on practice. Also, I'll be doing another Pick 6 live segment for all you guys. So again, thank you so much. I wouldn't be here without your love and support. And please give it a thumbs up. That is free. And if you guys don't mind, spread this video to all your family and friends. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, if you're on YouTube, please do me a solid and retweet this video out and share it on your public profile or private profile so others can see it if you like it. If you don't like it, then no point in sharing it, right? Like, nah, man, Beast, you're garbage, bro. Like, you're horrible. But if you do like it, that's free, right? That will help get the exposure going, and also will help with the algorithm as well. So do me a solid, give it a thumbs up, and then also drop those comments too, because even after this video concludes, which a lot of you guys watch post-stream, right? If you guys watching it post-stream, there's also a donate icon where you guys can donate to the live stream, and then I will get notifications that you guys donated. So even if you're not able to watch this live stream and you want to send me a super chat or super sticker, there is a super thanks donation on the YouTube live stream where you can go ahead and do that post-stream. So really cool features that we have going on there. I don't know why I'm telling you this, because YouTube says you got to tell people about this, because based on what we're seeing with your video content, this is how you can make money. I'm like, okay, cool. But and I appreciate it, because I do need to make money, because it's obviously my 9 to 5. But no, thank you so much, everyone. But yeah, I understand if you can't, that's all good too. Like, I'm not telling you like, oh man, like you have to donate. No. Just give it a thumbs up. That's it. Boom. That's free. That takes like 1 second. You can do that right now. It takes like literally like 1 second. Like literally 1,000 done. Let's try it again. 1,000 done. All right. Anyways, thank you so much. I'll be hopping on another live stream later on. I might do one later tonight, to be honest with you, because I have nothing going on with my life, because I have no life. I'm joking. I do have a life. But at the end of the day, I just love talking football, and any thoughts that I can gather, I'm going to provide you guys, because I want you guys to know exactly what's going through my head, and I can't do that without posting it on the live stream. So thank you so much for all your help and all your support. And without you guys, I wouldn't even be in the position I am today. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day. That's it for now. And stay tuned for the next live stream as we keep things hot here in the Pick 6 live stream segment right here in the dark side of BEASTwriter. Silver and black. Take care, Raider Nation. BEASTwriter out.